This video was filmed as the events were happening. This is a timeline of my emotions and thoughts as I'm having them. By the end of this video, we will get into how TikTok is now back, but it had just been banned the night before when I started filming this. There are many nuances going on with TikTok, and I'm not going to necessarily get into all the laws and all that. There's a bunch of videos about that, more just my thoughts and other people's thoughts and reactions amongst the internet, the live feed that is the consciousness of the internet and me plugged into the internet. Well, at the time of this recording, it's banned. TikTok is gone, and I got this historical screenshot last night. Last night I had my phone set to the side listening to a ramble about how Jeff Bezos screwed another person over. I went and played with my dog and a pretty girl. I come back, this was on my screen. And I was like, whoa, it happened, and it happened early. And I put everything to the side, stopped what I was editing, and made basically a TikTok, only I uploaded it onto Snapchat. And this is an interesting time because right now I am still gathering my thoughts and opinions, and I don't really know what to think. I think the reasoning for TikTok's ban is quite obvious, maybe mixed with a little bit of what they're saying being true, but at the same time, we all know how these social media platforms work. If you're under the age of, say, 60, you probably know that they all sell your data to China anyways, and this whole thing is mostly about conflict of interest within the Senate and them owning Meta stocks. As happy as I am to see others trying out Redno, and I just think it's funny and a kind of FU to the status quo, and they totally deserve it, I am myself having internal debates and weighing the pros and cons if I want to give it a try. Even if I am extremely curious to know how it is and what people think over there, both for security reasons and principle of the matter, as ditching one oppressor for another doesn't seem like the right move. However, again, I'm very happy that other people are. Now, at the moment, everything is sort of up in the air. Nobody knows what's going to happen to the platform TikTok. I have my own opinions, but I don't really know what I really think yet. I'm still processing all the information and taking in all the different opinions, and boy, there are a lot of opinions. If you're watching this later, you can look back and see sort of what people were thinking. As I mentioned before, a large portion of the community has moved to the app Redno, which has its servers in China and is actually controlled by the Chinese government, more or less, but more being the factor, and people have their opinions about that. People are also trying to figure out ways to get around the ban, maybe VPN or other ways to access the app. So the way they got around VPNs while maintaining the ban for Americans trying to use VPNs, trying to use the app, is that they just banned all the accounts that originated in the US. It took me a second to think about it, because I tried the VPN and it didn't work, and then, yeah, so that's how they did it. It's pretty obvious when you think about it, but it took me a minute. Now, because I feel like I'm racing against the clock of the algorithm that is YouTube, I wrote a comment down on WNY Over the Air, which is a seemingly pretty small YouTube channel, not as small as mine. Please subscribe. So this overly written comment that I made under his video basically describes how I am feeling and thinking in the moment, and I'd like to read it to you. First off, I don't think it's okay for senators to hold stocks in one company while passing legislation that bans a competitor, while presumably also not disclosing all of the information that helped them make that decision. It's a huge conflict of interest, and I could go on. With that out of the way, I got to agree somewhat with the video that I'm making this comment under, in which he describes that he never actually downloaded the app and posted all of the content that he made on the app through a web browser, mainly Brave, where TikTok basically stopped letting him post unless he turned off all the safety and security options. And as he continued to post, he had very little success, even though he was having a lot of success on Instagram and YouTube. And I've shared similar experiences. I have found that my try-hard edited content performed well on YouTube and other platforms, but has struggled to find the same footing on TikTok. However, when I switched to casual and less edited videos, my content did improve a bit. I think TikTok's algorithm favors everyday people, just talking into their phones, sharing their experiences, and just having a general conversation. But I do want to say that I have found a lot of good content that is edited perhaps in a different style, and usually using something like CapCut or provided tools within the app to make that content. There is written high quality content, but it's definitely different than you find on YouTube or Instagram. But at the same time, you do find a lot of the same stuff on those other platforms as well, but there's a taste to it for sure. There's certain videos that just don't work on TikTok and certain videos that go viral on TikTok but just will not perform on other platforms. But I did find it frustrating as somebody that likes to write and edit videos and tries to make videos that are somewhat well made. On the past, especially on YouTube, I focused on writing my scripts in high quality up until recently because I'm trying to grow. Like and subscribe. On a positive note, I think TikTok has become a massive connection platform, a place for everyday people to have conversations and talk to people they normally wouldn't, see points of views that they normally wouldn't, and start to find common ground. There's a lot of hate, of course, but there's also a lot of love, and I have seen so many discussions from all walks of life coming together for certain causes that I don't think would have ever happened without that platform. TikTok became a unique platform for conversation and connection amongst different communities in ways that other platforms haven't matched or even tried to provide, especially in video format. While imperfect, it was beautiful to see different people from different backgrounds and identities discussing their differences and sometimes coming together. In my opinion, it's kind of exactly what this country needs. TikTok was a strange place and beautiful in many ways, but it also was very restrictive and biased, just like every other online platform. However, TikTok's biases and restrictions were different than other platforms. Overall, I think it's wrong that they took it away the way they did, and I feel sad that many people have lost their voice and their careers, and many of them will have a hard time on other platforms. At the moment, I don't know. I do feel like that there are better solutions, but part of what made TikTok so great is how big the community was and how so many people had downloaded the app. I think this sort of conversation and what TikTok provided would be better off on like an open source platform. But no matter if it was open source or another platform, even if the algorithm was just as good, owned in America and everything done right, maybe even Mark himself with the conversation in mind, it would still be very hard to get that sort of traction and success with that many types of communities and everything that TikTok has. So to be able to have, say, an open source platform that does similar things to TikTok, which there is a few in development, or even a similar competitor that was American, it would be hard to replicate that sort of success. I have so many thoughts, and in this I'm like, maybe I'll make my own video, but at the moment I'm so conflicted within my own mind, I still need time to processing. By the way, this whole segment wasn't necessarily the exact words I used in the comments. I added some, ad-libbed some, and kind of talked as I went. So yeah, now it's back up, and it turns out that the last 3 days, TikTok was moved to a Meta-owned data center. So I guess the truth is pretty complicated, because when I log back into the app, we get this screenshot thanking Trump's efforts to save the TikTok. But the truth is, it's much more complicated than that, and it's obviously some good publicity for Trump, and touche. That's what I mean when I say I'm making this video as things are happening. Everything's up in the air. TikTok's live again. So the app is working, but it's still not on the App Store. So that's interesting. Good thing I updated all my devices prior to this whole debacle. And for the record, Trump got this whole thing rolling and Biden signed it into the law. So nobody's hands are clean. Who knows what the app will be now? So there you have it. Nobody knows what's really going on. All the companies are bowing down to Donald, and life goes on. Everybody on TikTok is talking about it being back, different perspectives. Is it on a Meta server? Maybe it's just on a Google server. Maybe it's not. I've seen some tech people on, like, it seems pretty legit that it's on a Meta server, but who knows? Maybe they're planning on buying it. But this was a little bit different than my other videos. If this is your first time seeing me, check out some of my other stuff, and I'll be back to the regular programming probably in the next video, depending on what's going on in history. I wanted to try this out, see if it gets any traction, because it's pretty fun making a video like right now, today, no script, just get it out there. Like right now, it's 2:30 in the morning. My dog's laying in bed going, "Daddy, why aren't you coming to bed?" So instead of like editing the heck out of it and putting it up tomorrow when it's less relevant, there might be a whole new video to be made tomorrow. I don't know. Let me know what you think of it. And I'll either see you in the next video or I'll see you in the next life. And check out this video because you'll like it. Maybe. I don't know. Subscribe.